So, if you have not heard the news, yeah, Berserk is returning. And then One Piece is going on a 1 month hiatus. And the last time I think we've really ever had, like, a long break like that from Oda Sensei that writes One Piece is since the time skip. Correct me if I'm wrong, but, wow. So let's get into this. Okay. So let's cover the One Piece stuff first because I think this would be very quick to get through, and then I want to be reading this entire Berserk stuff that came out, like at the official statement that the team that's going to be working on Berserk actually made. So the One Piece news that came out earlier this morning, as you can see here, One Piece by Eiichiro Oda will be on break for 4 weeks to prepare for the final arc. Talk more about that in a second. It will be on break from Weekly Shonen Jump issue 30 to 33 and will resume in issue 34/2022 out July 25th, 2022. Obviously, when you think about July 25th, that's really not that long ago. Yes, June just started, but July is just right around the corner, and this year is really just flying on by, so before we know it, One Piece will be back. However, the big thing to really talk about, the bombshell here, is the fact that, the final arc, or in this case, maybe it could be a translation issue, could be the final saga, because we gotta remember what Wano represents. Like, the current stuff that happened in the One Piece manga, Wano represented the end of a huge saga, the Four Emperors saga, that started ever since pretty much the time skip. That happened, like 12, 13 years ago. So when you really think about it, it makes sense that maybe this final arc could be representation of a final saga, or maybe it really is a final arc. Who really knows? We do know, though, we are reaching the horizon. We could definitely see the end of the tunnel in the future, and One Piece is clearly getting towards that very, very soon. So yeah, Oda taking a 1 month hiatus. It's been a while since that's happened, at least from what I can remember on the top of my head. So yeah, One Piece gonna be gone for a while, and I mean, I guess in a month's time we might have like Hunter x Hunter back, so at least we can substitute Hunter x Hunter and maybe some Black Clover while, One Piece is on break. But let's get into the Berserk stuff. So Berserk. So, once again, I feel like many might have already heard the news, but I want to read the statement that was made by the official team. Berserk is coming back, the manga. Now, for everyone that is not in the loop, to make sure everybody's up to speed, Kentaro Miura, the author of Berserk, a very beloved and legendary writer that has created something that has spawned so many things from it. For instance, like the Dark Souls series passed away last year. And because of that, the estate of Berserk was obviously left in limbo. Nobody knew what would happen with Berserk, if it would ever come back, etc. Because obviously, we don't know if, Mura Kentaro had like a manuscript, rough drafts written out where he wanted the story to go, etc. It was up in the air exactly where, Berserk would go after its final chapter. So, now we have this statement that is released a good long while afterwards, and I want to read this. So, at first, as you can see, they posted in Japanese. Obviously, I can't read Japanese, so we're going to read the English. So, to our readers, we will resume the serialization of Berserk. Please accept our apologies for the long wait before we can make this announcement. We have read as many of your comments as possible for the Die Berserk 10, the Great Berserk Expedition, Young Animal Memorial Issue, Young Animal 2021 number 18, and Berserk Volume 41. We are extremely grateful for each and every one of your words and for your messages sent for us through social media. We are truly touched by the love you have all have for Berserk and the influence it has had on your lives. It is truly sad that Kentaro Miura himself is not here to read your comments with us. Before his passing, Kentaro Miura spoke to his close friend Koji Mori about the stories and episodes he had in mind for Berserk. He also had similar talks with his studio staff and editor. He wondered, would everyone be surprised if I drew something like this? How about a character like this? Would this storyline be interesting? The talks were not meant as his lasting words, but were a part of his ordinary days as a manga artist. Such ordinary days continue for more than a quarter of a century. Our minds and hearts are still filled with the thoughts Mr. Miura shared with us during that time. We have also found means of ideas he wrote and designs for characters that he drew and left behind. We were reluctant to end his story without sharing these with his fans. Our hope is for everyone to read the last episode that we have put together until the very last frame. Upon resuming this series, our production team decided on a basic policy. Mr. Miura said so. This is what the production team kept in mind. Since he did not leave behind rough drafts, It is impossible for us to create a manuscript exactly in the way he would have it intended. However, we will write the manga so as not to deviate from Mr. Miura's own words. We would like to take the Kentaro Miura that we knew so fondly through our conversations and work and convey this to all of you in a sincere manner. We believe that this policy, although imperfect, is the best way to deliver the Berserk that Mr. Miura envisioned to everyone as faithfully as possible. For the next issue, we will first publish 6 chapters until the end of the Fantasia arc / Elf Island chapter. After this, we will start a new arc. Credits after this resumption will be original work by Kentaro Miura, manga by Studio Gaga, and supervised by Koji Mori. And the numbering of the manga books will continue in order. Looking back, the first volume Berserk was published in 1990 with 28,000 copies released for the first edition. It was not an immediate hit, and only a small group of people knew about it. Still, it drew avid fans and was able to hold their interest because people could feel Mr. Miura's desire to refine his craft. After a while, Berserk became a huge hit through Mr. Miura's extraordinary efforts and some good luck. Today, the first volume has been read by 2 million people around the world, and we believe that Berserk has touched the hearts of many fans, and Mr. Miura would be happy to know that his thoughts had a great influence on people's lives and work. We hope that everyone will continue to have the same connection with Berserk in the chapters to come. Thank you for all the fans who sent us the messages. We are grateful to the many fans who quietly supported the manga throughout their thoughts. Every one of you will be the source of our energy as we move forward. We are truly grateful to you all. June 2022, Young Animal Editing Department. And this one I will read in just a second. But let's talk about what I just talked about. So, what you can get from this right here is the fact that this is clearly a passion project. Like, 100%, the team that is working on the upcoming chapters for Berserk, they straight up are honest, very transparent about everything, and I respect this. Because it's something I kind of talked about when I did my whole video just talking about the state of Berserk, what would happen to it, etc. You know, it's like, if the team somehow did pick up Berserk, it wouldn't technically be everything that probably Kentaro Miura himself envisioned. Let's keep it real. And I'm glad that the team that's going to be working on the chapters were just straight up and said, look, you know, we've talked with him for decades now. We have heard his voice and what he might want to do, etc. But at the end of the day, we can't 100% know that everything that's going to happen in the upcoming chapters is what he envisions. And I like how very straightforward they are with that. They don't try to sugarcoat it. They don't try to act like they're going to be better than Kentaro Miura. They're basically just straight up saying that, look, we feel like because of just how long this series has spanned for so many years now, we owe it to the fans to at least have some form of conclusion. And so when I look at the way this is written, it's passion. It's pure, unadulterated passion. That's exactly what it is. It is passion from people that love Berserk. They absolutely love Berserk, and they want to give it to those individuals throughout all the fan base that has fallen in love with Berserk. I appreciate this message. It feels very genuine. It doesn't feel like they're just trying to continue to sell Berserk to be like, oh, we need to make money off of this. It feels genuine, like they truly care about the actual product that is Berserk. I appreciate this. So let's carry forward. So, nearly 30 years ago, Miura called me and said, I need to talk to you about drawing a rough draft. I went to his workplace just to talk as we always do, but Miura looked more serious than usual. I need to draw the eclipse, he said. I sensed it would be hard work, but couldn't believe when I was trapped indoors for a week. In that very moment, the storyline for Berserk was completed, until the very last chapter. Strangely, the story for Berserk went on exactly as we discussed at the time, with almost no changes. I continued to talk to Miura often whenever there was a big episode. We did so ever since we were students, consulting each other while working on manga. I think people with good intuition would realize by now that I know the story for Berserk up to the very end. Still, I cannot say that I can draw it because I know it. That is because only the genius Kentaro Miura can write a masterpiece like Berserk. However, a great responsibility has fallen on me. While he was alive, Miura said, I haven't told anyone other than you. Mori about the story in its entirety, and that was the truth. It is too big a responsibility, I thought. Should I talk to fans about it through an interview, or should I publish an article with some illustrations? But that wouldn't convey the scenes that Miura described to me, or the lines of guts in Griffith. Just when I was trying to decide what to do, I received a message. The staff were saying they will finish the last chapter that was left behind, so can you take a look? The last few pages of the chapter were incomplete. Some did not even have the characters drawn on them. I took a look at the manuscript without expecting much. Desperation can push people to create miracles. There it was, the completed manuscript for Berserk. Mr. Mori, will you let us do it? Miura's apprentices, who Miura had been so proud of while he was alive, asked me straight. Company director Shimada, a mentor for me and Miura, also said, if you do it, the company will give our full support. I thought if I run away now, Miura would say, I talked to you about it so much, but you didn't do it. Alright, I'll do it properly. I have a message and promised everyone. I will recall the details as much as possible and tell the story. Also, I will only write the episodes that Miura talked to me about. I will not flesh it out. I will not write episodes that I don't remember clearly. I will only write the lines and stories that Miura described to me. Of course, it will not be perfect. Still, I think I can almost tell the story that Miura wanted to tell. The talent Miura's apprentices have are real. They are brilliant artists. Many of you may not be fully satisfied with the Berserk written without Miura, but we hope everyone's thoughts will be with us. We ask you for your continued support. June 2022, Koji Mori. If that didn't hit you in the gut like it just did me, I don't know what to say, because passion, as I just said, passion, love, and it's fascinating to finding a little bit about this out, basically saying that, Koji Mori knows, apparently, about how Berserk will end, but he doesn't know every single little detail, just a vague, rough draft, and I respect the honesty here, how he's acting like, look, there's going to be times where I'm not going to even know what's going on, and I'm going to write it as Kentaro himself said to me, and that's about it, and if, it's not something he said to me, I'm not going to write it. I really appreciate just the transparency. It's so beautiful to see, and I just... What news? Honestly, what news for Berserk? I mean, I think Kentaro in his own way, I feel like he would be happy. I don't know, obviously. We could never know, but I feel like in his own way, he probably would be happy because Berserk is his life work. Like, when you think about Berserk and Kentaro Miura, Berserk is his life's work. He poured so much time and effort into the manga. I feel like he would love to be able to see the series reach a conclusion. And so I really appreciate this team coming together and really trying to make it possible. It's passion. Pure 100% passion. And I love this. It's so beautiful. I think many of us in the community that even isn't maybe even a Berserk fan can actually respect this type of dialogue from a company just being straight up like, look, it might not be what you envisioned, completely perfect, but we will do our best. I like this. But, that's about it. Heartfelt news for Berserk fans, One Piece fans, etc. Just... let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But with that, guys, be safe, stay healthy. Leave me a like if you enjoyed the video. And with that, Chibi out.